this area and surrounding environs of the Yazoo River, Tallahatchie River, for a couple of months in 1863, this was the most important real estate in America. President Lincoln had said that Vicksburg is the key to the Mississippi River, and until we have that key in our pocket, we cannot win the war. I was charged with obtaining that key. Once Vicksburg was captured, we would have control of the Mississippi from source to mouth, and that would cut off the Trans-Mississippi area, which was Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas, from the Confederacy. That would deny them hundreds of thousands of head of cattle and the hides and leather goods that could be supplied from the cattle. The same with hogs, hundreds of thousands of head of hogs and pork to feed a very hungry Confederate army. It would also deny thousands upon thousands of new recruits for the rapidly thinning ranks of the Confederate army. So denying the Confederacy all of that was incalculable in importance to the Federal forces. Coming through this area was an attempt on my part to send Federal forces overland and to invest Vicksburg from the north and the east and push them into the defenses there at the bluffs at Vicksburg. Had we been successful in coming through, the war would have ended in all likelihood much sooner than it did, because we would have captured Vicksburg much sooner than we did on July the 4th of 1863. However, a small force of Confederate soldiers with just a few pieces of artillery stopped my forces in their tracks coming down through this area on the Yazoo, Tallahatchie, and Coldwater rivers. We had to backtrack to Memphis and rethink how we were going to get to Vicksburg. Something else of significance is that the Star of the West, which was the vessel that received the first shots of the Civil War when it attempted to resupply Fort Sumter, was at that time in Confederate hands, and the Confederates sank the Star of the West in the river at Fort Pemberton to block Federal gunboats coming down the river. You can go to Fort Pemberton at this time and see where the Star of the West was sunk. She is still there. She's not visible, but she's still there. We know the Star of the West was sunk. So the people in this area and people coming to this exhibit may experience and walk the ground where a major Federal emphasis was executed to capture Vicksburg. It cannot be overemphasized how important Fort Pemberton, the Yazoo Pass Expedition, and Greenwood, Mississippi all coming together in the execution of the American Civil War.